Random thoughts. In this video, I'm going to talk about the origin and meaning of the name Elgon or Mount Elgon. All of us, or many of us at least, know Mount Elgon. And I've never asked myself, what does Mount Elgon or what does Elgon mean? And I've always assumed that the name Elgon is maybe came by the British, or this is the British who call the mountain Elgon. And I've sometimes thought it's a name of someone, but turns out the name did not come with the British. The name is very local, and the name has a very interesting meaning. And apparently, or turns out, Mount Elgon is not known as Mount Elgon by the people who live around it, at least the majority of people who live around it. The majority of the people who live around it have called it Maasai, Mount Maasai. But we need to realize that Mount Elgon has so many people, or has had so many different groups of people live around it. So it must have had different names to different groups. Now, one group of the people who've lived close to Mount Elgon is the Maasai group of people, the people speaking the Ma languages. Now, of course, the Ma language, or the people speaking the Ma language, have given us so many names that we use today without even thinking. Most of Kenya, or very large part of Kenya, has names that come from the Ma language, like Kipia, Longonot, or Naivasha, or Nakuru, even Nairobi. All these names are from the Ma language. Now, turns out Elgon is also from the Ma language. And I get this from the book I'm reading right now. The book is written by one Sir Charles Elliot. The book is titled The East Africa Protectorate. Now, Sir Charles Elliot was appointed to become what came to be known, or what was known as the Commissioner of British East Africa. He was basically administering this colony on behalf of Britain. And he served in that office from 1902 to 1904. He resigned for some reasons. And then he wrote this book that was published in 1905. So this book gives a lot of detail about what came to be known as Kenya, the geography, the people, the history. He tried to make it so comprehensive. It's a very interesting book, and it's a book I'll recommend that you read if you find history to be interesting. Now, in this book, he talks about many things. And some of the things he talks about, or at some part of the book, or one part of the book, he talks about the naming of places by the British. And he was of the opinion that when it came to naming places, if there was a name by the local people, he was of the opinion that that name should be adopted and maintained. And only places that did not have a name that was understood by everyone to be the name of the place, that's where the Europeans maybe should have provided names. And this is what he says. Thus, Mount Elgon is known as Masawa to most of the inhabitants in its vicinity. And Elgon appears to be an abbreviation of the Maasai name Oldonyo Lolgon, the mountain of breasts. So that's what the meaning of the word. So he says the name is Oldonyo Lolgon, or it's Lolgon, the Maasai name for it. Oldonyo, of course, is mountain. As of course, we have Oldonyo Eibor, which is Mount Kenya among the Maasai, or that's what it used to be called at some point. So we have Oldonyo Lolgon, and then over time, people just said Elgon, and it became Mount Elgon. Those are my random thoughts.